Batman v Superman wasn't the only movie DC had up their belt. There was also Suicide Squad. Well, that and The Killing Joke. Okay, we both know how The Killing Joke turned out, but come on, this is Suicide Squad. How can DC mess this up? It's like the DC version of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, according to the critics on Rotten Tomatoes, they did mess this up. And they said, and I quote, Suicide Squad boasts a talented cast and little more humor than its previous DC Extended Universe efforts, but they aren't enough to save the disappointing end result from a muddled plot, thinly written characters, and choppy directing. Now, for those of you who don't speak critic, let me sum it up in English for you. Now, people said that this was a disappointing mess from start to finish. Now, if you say that, I respect your opinion, but I don't see the negative backlash out of this. I mean, oh, now I see why. Yeah, Zack Snyder was involved in the making of this. Same guy who directed this piece of shit. And if you were the one of few people who saw this video, you'll know what I'm talking about. Seriously, what is up with that Martha scene? Now, before I started making the video, I had to sit down and process what I saw by reading The Killing Joke. Oh, the irony, I know. And after I finished the book, I finally came to a conclusion about the movie. So, without any further hesitation or procrastination, let's get down to it. My problems with Suicide Squad. Now, you can't have Suicide Squad without the squad itself, right? Those members of the squad include Deadshot, played by Will Smith, Killer Croc, played by Adewale Agbaj, El Diablo, played by Jay Hernandez, Harley Quinn, played by Margot Robbie, Enchantress, played by Cara Delevingne, Joker, played by Jared Leto, Captain Boomerang, played by Jai Courtney, Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis, Rick Flag, played by Joe Kinnanen, Katana, played by Karen Fukuhara, and Slipknot, played by Adam Beach. I'm sorry. I know I sound like Bane on Adderall, but in case you don't understand me, here's a proper introduction.
Deadshot shoots people. He's a crocodile and he eats people. He burns people. You're possessed by a witch, and she's just crazy.
Y'all caught up? I hope you are, because I'm just gonna go on, no questions asked. You sure? You're all caught up? Okay, let's go. Alright, I might get a lot of hate for saying this, but in terms of character in the movie, I might have to agree with the Rotten Tomatoes article. Whoa, let's keep this civil, okay? Now, I'm not saying that the characters were bad, far from it. I'm just saying that they were sort of written poorly, so to speak. Now, the first one I'm going to point out is Killer Croc. Despite him being my favorite member on the entire squad, there are some problems with him. 2, to be exact. My first problem with him is how he's designed. He looks like a Goomba from the Mario Brothers movie, and nobody wants to be reminded of that. The second thing is what he does throughout the majority of the film. Now, he doesn't really do much throughout the film. He just stands there and scowls. His attitude kind of reminds me of, like, Terrence from the Angry Birds movie. And anything reminding me of the Angry Birds movie is starting off on the wrong foot. But Killer Croc isn't the only one we're digging out of here. There's also Katana. Now, I'm going to be honest. Of all the characters in the movie, Katana was the one who had the least impact. Who's Katana? She's a woman who had her husband killed, and she has a sword that can trap her victims' souls in it. Now, in the movie, she joins the squad, and she's also a bodyguard to this guy. Now, I know you're thinking, she must have done something useful to the story. Well, to be honest, she didn't. Katana's one of those rare characters that if you were to just take her out of the story, then the plot would just be pretty much unaffected. I mean, with Killer Croc, he at least did something useful.
Which I'm not gonna go too much into detail because I can't do that without spoiling anything.
But Katana was more of a poster person for the squad. Now, being the only good person in the squad, she was kind of there. She didn't actually do anything. But that's enough about Katana. Let's talk about the real reason why you clicked on this video. That That's right, we're talking about the real deal. Jared Leto's Joker. Now, I have several problems with his performance. The first thing is the way he looks. I mean, look at this picture. There are several things that come to mind when I look at this picture, and arch nemesis of the Batman is not one of them. To be honest, he looks more like he's about to sneeze, or he's really high. My second issue is the way he sounds when he laughs. Now, when it comes to laughing, Jared Leto's Joker misses the point entirely. Let me compare his laugh to Heath Ledger's. God, that laugh freaks me out. Now here's Jared Leto's laugh. That's not very creepy. If you want to be creepy, slow the audio down. All joking aside, Joker's laugh wasn't really that intimidating if they were going for that angle. It sounded more like an old man's laugh, to be honest. That's all I have about character. Now let's move on to plot. The plot of Suicide Squad is pretty basic. It goes like this. A great evil approaches the DC cinematic universe, so the government decides to assemble a task force of the, quote, most dangerous people on the planet, since the Justice League is too busy making their new movie. Okay, I lied about that last part, but you get the picture. Anyway, the problems that I have is not with the plot itself, but the decisions made. You see, the director wanted to cut out lots and lots of things. You see, his goals were to make the story as light-hearted as possible. I'm going to give him points for stepping away from the typical DC formula, which is make the story as dark as possible, but lightheartedness is not what makes a movie good. A little dark stuff wouldn't hurt, but too much kind of makes your movie very gloomy. That's the same thing that this movie suffered from. The director wanted to make the movie with one simple formula. Cut out anything that is too dark and reshoot the scene with more light-hearted humor. Now, I'm going to be honest. The humor in this movie was way too out of hand. There was humor everywhere, even in scenes where it was unnecessary. For example, there was a scene where Captain Boomerang wanted to taunt El Diablo of his fire powers, so he held a lighter in front of his face, and he went, "Woo!" Now, you may laugh at that thinking that's comedy gold, but when I saw that in the theater, I just facepalmed. That was just plain unnecessary. Unnecessary humor is what it is. And to pour more salt on the wound, the editing in this movie was very choppy. Now, take a look at this scene and I'll show you what I mean.
What are you gonna do? You gonna kill me, Mr. J?
What? Oh, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you. Really bad.
The point of this editing is to make the scene more scary. It doesn't, okay? It's more forced than it is scary. And Jared Leto's monkey face isn't really helping. In fact, let's put that director's formula into work, shall we? Let's make this scene as over-the-top and funny as possible, alright? Alright, here we go.
I like big butts, and I cannot lie. You likey, my Tinky Winky. Also buena, alwatam, Macarena.
Yeah, you get the picture. Anyway, next thing. While the film definitely has its moments and it's a mild improvement over Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad couldn't save itself from confused directing, way too many cuts, and inappropriate humor at the inappropriate times. So, on the scale, Suicide Squad is mediocre. So what do you think of the movie? Do you love it or do you hate it? Leave a comment below. And as always, please like this video, share it to your friends, and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you next time with a brand new video. Goodbye.